Good morning, everyone. Oh, this might be my favorite day of the year. Good morning. My name is Kirsten Hunter. I am the director of Lifespan Ministries here at South Church, serving in co-leadership with Reverend Ellen Quadgrass, alongside a truly remarkable staff team and in shared ministry with all of you. And you are in for a treat today because it's Pageant Sunday. You might have already gotten an inkling about that, what with there being shepherd hooks and angels drifting around in the sanctuary. Pageant Sunday is maybe the most playful and unpredictable holiday tradition we do around here. And I welcome you, whether you're here in person or whether you're joining us online. It will surely be a joyful service, no matter where you're coming to join us. Pageant Sunday is also an invitation to reflect on the lessons that Jesus first taught to his disciples nearly 2,000 years ago. The parable in today's pageant is a parable about the strength and resilience that comes from building our lives on a solid foundation. A foundation of love and respect, of generosity, of interconnectedness. It is a lesson that can guide our individual choices, our relationships with our families and friends, and it applies also to the choices we make as a whole community, and communities all connected in our huge human family and in relationship with this beautiful planet where we live. Every Sunday morning for quite some time now, this community has been intentional about acknowledging that the land upon which this beautiful sanctuary was built was land stolen from indigenous people, including the Abenaki and the Pennacook people. And today's story, today's parable, speaks about foolish builders. There is a way in which the choices that our own country made over the past many centuries are choices of a foolish builder, a country built on precarious sand of violence, of genocide, and of greed. To this day, we have yet to truly reckon with how that colonization damaged relationships with our human siblings and with the land herself. And so we make that acknowledgement each Sunday as a commitment to practice covenant, to aim toward healing, to commit to action, and hopefully to become wise builders today so that tomorrow we may all know the comfort and safety of a home truly built on solid ground. I encourage you to take a look at your order of service for details about today's worship. There's lots of information in there. Everything happening in our community is also in there, and I'll share a few of those things at the end of these announcements. Leading worship with me today is our worship associate, Veda Kuiper-Phelps. Reverend Ellen will be joining me to narrate the pageant. Jen Del Deo, our director of Children and Family Ministries, is in the back doing the heavy work of the pageant, of getting everyone donned in costumes. If you happen to be sitting in the pews and you want to participate in the pageant, you can head back there now and select a role to play and get dressed for it. We are also blessed with the South Church Band this morning, along with Johnny Piper, our Director of Music Ministry. We've already been grooving, and we're going to keep grooving all morning. Many thanks to Ben Abbott in the back handling our tech, and Jen Leiden will make add some vocal flair to our morning as well. Everyone who is here with us in person this morning is invited to join us in the fellowship hall after this service for coffee and treats and conversation. I encourage you, when you come down, to try and meet someone you don't already know. And when you introduce yourself, please share with that person the strangest family holiday story you can remember. I imagine it will make for some good coffee conversation. We have assisted listening devices, large print hymnals, both in the back of the sanctuary, and Usher can help you if you need assistance. If your cell phones aren't silenced, I encourage you to silence them. And here's our few announcements. One is, somewhere in our congregation is a kind soul who took home a bunch of gold tablecloths, and they haven't come back, and we need them. So if you did that, and then you forgot to bring them back from the top of your dryer, please return the gold tablecloths. Also, just 2 days from now, you get to come back to church again. For our Christmas Eve services, there is one at 5 and one at 8 p.m. The 5 p.m. tends to be a little more child-heavy. More kids tend to come to that service. It's a little more jovial. The 8 p.m. tends to be a little bit quieter, but you're welcome at either or both if you feel like really doing some heavy church on Christmas Eve. And finally, our chili sale on New Year's Eve is in the works. If you love to make chili, we welcome donations. If you would like to come eat chili, we welcome eaters. The donations can start being dropped off at 4 o'clock here, or you can arrange to drop them at another time. There's information in your order of service. And this year, in addition to our chili meal before the fireworks, which happen right in whatever that direction, after the fireworks, you can come back here for music. We're having a benefit concert that will benefit both South Church and the Continuum Arts Collective, who help children all across the Seacoast get musical instruments and have opportunities to perform. They do great work. It's going to be a lot of fun, so come to the concert after the fireworks. Spend the night, spend New Year's Eve here at South Church with us. That is all I have for One more quick announcement.
Downstairs, we are selling candles and ornaments and a bunch of chocolate and tea and coffee. And the candles that we made, our senior youth group made them, and they're from melted wax from the Candles of Joy and Sorrow. And so if you want to check it out, just come on down after the service.
Thank you. That sale will benefit the senior youth's learning journey at the end of the year. They're heading to Baltimore to attend the General Assembly of the UUA. So you're also supporting a good cause.
As we light our chalice here, we invite people watching at home to light a candle or chalice of their own. Our chalice lighting words this morning are by Cole Arthur Riley. To make a home, to construct some small site of resistance where you have agency, where you might breathe a little deeper, where you hold the key, is no minor liberation. As we light this flame, may we remember that every day we have an opportunity to practice giving and receiving love. And when we do that together, anything is possible.
This morning, we also kindle the lights of the season, beginning with these candle lighting words for Advent, adapted from Reverend Teresa Ninan Soto. Light now the Advent candle 1, beams hope through the long stretch of night. Light now the Advent candle 2, since love is bringing something new. Light now the Advent candle 3. We light a pink one on this day to signify the light of joy. And light now the Advent candle 4, a blazing light that shines for peace. Jesus has come to teach us love. May hope, love, joy, and peace increase.
We light the Yule log in celebration of the winter solstice just passed. Solstice marks the longest night of the year. The sun will now begin its long journey back towards summer. Bringing us light and warmth, a new life, we honor these dark days of rest and restoration. Now please join me in body or spirit in reciting our mission statements. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship, learning, and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community. Home is my foundation. While the walls and floors and ceilings have changed drastically over the years, the hands holding mine have never lacked support. There have been too many nights in my high school career where I found myself at the dinner table around midnight, pushing through slumber to finish my homework. There are tears and delirious laughter as I roll around the kitchen floor in confusion, frustrated it's taken me 4 hours to do 4 math problems. However, routinely during my episodes of midnight school delirium, my mom opens her bedroom door to collect a glass of water and is always surprised to see me hunched over the ominous light of my computer. After I give her a brief heart attack, she always smiles, puts her hands up as if they were a camera, and takes a pretend picture before blowing me a kiss and returning to bed. Recently, I went through a horror movie phase with my friends that scared me so bad I was freaked out to walk the 50 feet from my car to the house if it was dark out. In a moment of completely unnecessary but absolutely engulfing fear, I sat in the car staring at the darkness between me and my home. I called my brother, which was a gamble since he's 13 and would most likely use that moment to scare me more. However, he picked up sleepily and soon appeared at the door. Without a word, he walked to the car in his socks to comfort me further. The other day, after a particularly grueling track workout, I walked through the parking lot a tad nauseous, with jello legs and a few too many stars in the sky. It was one of the days where I didn't get a good enough grade on a test, where I wasn't fast enough at practice, where I said the wrong thing, and I was glued to messing up. As I sat there recalling my defeat, my dad called me with an invite to pick up a Christmas tree. I groaned that I would have to drive the mile down the road to meet him there. But when I arrived, my sister was hopping up and down. She grabbed my hand, excitement widening her eyes, her animation contagious. My dad's enthusiasm about firs and spruces, the glow of the lights, the narration of the soft candles, lifted the defeat of my day. It's the little things that do so, that spread the light to absorb the darkness. I found it's my family capturing the memories, walking me to the door, lifting my heart up when they don't even know it's down. I am rooted in their comfort. No matter how fast the world is turning for me, I know when I get home, it is calm.
If you are in the pews and you are in a costume, please head back toward Jen. And Jen, we're all set. We have no more needs for roles. That's amazing, wonderful. So go ahead and head to the back, and we are gonna sing together, if everyone will rise in body or spirit, hymn number 255 in your gray hymnal.
Christmas morn. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. It will lead to the place where the babe is born. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Leave your ewes and leave your lambs. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Leave your sheep and leave your rams. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Follow, follow. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Follow the star of Bethlehem. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. If you hark to the angel's holy word, rise up, shepherd, and follow. You'll forget your flock, you'll forget your herd. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Leave your ewes and leave your lambs. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Leave your sheep and leave your rams. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Follow, follow. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Follow the star of Bethlehem. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Rise up, shepherd, and follow.
Woo! That's some jazzy goodness. Thank you, South Church Band. So, the stories that we share on Pageant Sunday have been carried ever so imperfectly forward for more than 2,000 years to find their way to this sweet morning, in this beautiful space, with this sweet community, let us again imagine it. As our story begins, it is the dark of night, in a field some miles from Bethlehem, and there are shepherds and sheep, and maybe a sheepdog. Echoing across the field is the gentle din of many sheep with a few attentive shepherds by their sides and that very handsome sheepdog. The shepherds walking the fields, tending their sheep, the sheep making sheep noises, many sheep noises, chewing grass, when all of a sudden, angels appeared, and the firmaments of heaven, so many stars appeared across the whole sanctuary.
There they were, all angelic and beaming, all these angels swirling and flying, and stars shimmering and moving and twirling. So many stars. And the shepherds saw them, and they were amazed. They gasped. And even the sheep were amazed. They bawed in amazement. And the angels came bearing wonderful news, tidings of great joy.
A child had been born that night. A Messiah, they said, come to bring relief to the poor, release to the captives, and freedom to the oppressed. The angels said, you will find him in a manger, wrapped in swaddling clothes. They shared all this good news with their hands outstretched and with very expressive angel gestures.
Can you imagine it? Perhaps you can see it. The shepherds, amazed at what they saw. Amazed, thinking of that baby so far away. And those sweet sheep. Something was beginning. And the shepherds said to one another, let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened. And the angels and the stars and the sheep and the shepherds went back to their seats. But they kept their costumes on. And now let us join together in hymn number 246, O Little Town of Bethlehem.
We are singing verses 1 and 2 of O Little Town of Bethlehem. And gathered all
If Mary and Joseph are around, they're welcome to come forward. On that winter night, so long ago, Mary and Joseph had traveled to Bethlehem, Joseph's hometown, because they had been called back for a census. It's often said that when they arrived in Bethlehem, there was no room at the inn, but actually, chances are Mary and Joseph went to a relative's home that night, not to an inn at all. Mary and Joseph, please come sit. Mary, you're holding such a load. They likely went to a relative's home, but either way, many people had been returning to Bethlehem that week and that night for that census, and it is likely true that there was no room in the upstairs living space. Homes in ancient Palestine were often 2 floors, with the lower floor serving as function space, as well as a place to keep their animals. And it seems that Mary and Joseph found themselves in a manger, so there were animals. Maybe some goats, perhaps a cow or two. A dog. I see some cows.
Mary soon had her baby. The most painless birth ever.
That was an easy birth.
She sat and held him close while Joseph stayed beside her and looked on. All around them, the animals lay. Some of them rested in the quiet stable. Some of the animals crept close and knelt to watch. They crept close. And they knelt to watch the young couple with their child. Soon the shepherds arrived with their sheep.
The shepherds and the sheep, where are they?
And the angels were following close behind. Shepherds and sheep and angels all coming to see the baby.
The shepherds were amazed to discover that the story the angels had told them was true, and they sat again and gazed in awe at the newborn baby. While the angels looked on from above, look at that wise Gabriel. The angels all gathered around that tallest angel back there, and they shimmered their stars. Oh, those stars shone so brightly that night. And one special star rose up over the manger amidst the angels, shedding its light on the scene below. Jesus was born and would grow up to preach an abiding message of love and peace that challenges and comforts us to this day. We will talk more about that soon, but for now, let us sing. It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, hymn number
244.
244.
And we're going to sing verses 1 and 4 of the
and all of them could return again to their seats. Veda, my love, you are summoned to the front, sweet cow.
It is now time for the offering. Donations may be made in person, online, by mailing a check to the 73 Court Street offices, or by using the Venco app. During the month of December, our collection will be shared with Families First. Families First is part of a network of community health centers providing primary care, pediatrics, dental care, prenatal care, and more to people of all income levels, insured or uninsured. They deliver innovative and compassionate health services and support that are accessible to all, regardless of ability to pay. Please give as you are able. The offertory will now be gratefully received.
Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Breathe deep. If there are any other sheep or other animals in the pews and you want to go take your costumes off, you can go to the back. I should have said that. But we are going to settle into a time of prayer and meditation. This may be a slightly restless one, but we'll do our best to settle our bodies and our voices. In this season and always, please remember, if you are struggling, you are not alone. Here in this community, you are held by so many including Reverend Ellen and myself. And if you need support, we encourage you to reach out. And this is another gentle reminder I actually came across on social media this morning, and I found it really helpful to hear. It said, it's written by Alex Ellie, who says, "You are allowed to be happy and heartbroken. You are allowed to be grieving and grateful. You are allowed to be in the duality of humanness. You are allowed to be. So let yourself." In this holiday season, it can be so joyful. Loved ones meeting new babies for the first time, and beloved traditions and delicious cookies and presents and vacation time and snowflakes and candlelight and fireplace fires and hot cocoa and puzzles and laughter and love. And this holiday season can also be heavy. It can be a time when grief surfaces, when we miss loved ones who have died. It can be a time when our spirits might not match the expectations of those around us. I stood outside this sanctuary in the freezing wind last night as our friends from Crossroads House memorialized 4 unhoused young adults who died over this past year, right here in our community. And ever since, I can't stop thinking about how cold it is outside right now. There is war continuing in Ukraine and Sudan and in the Congo. Our country continues to fund a genocide. Earlier this month, the Vatican released a photo of this year's nativity, and the baby Jesus was laying in a cradle lined with a Palestinian keffiyeh. The Pope himself said, "Enough with wars, enough with violence." Maybe it helps to remember that this story of Christmas came from a time of great violence and grief as well. Maybe it helps to remember that Jesus was a poor Jewish Palestinian living under Roman occupation. Maybe it helps to remember that life was hard for him, and in all of that struggle, he found hope and a liberatory ministry that has endured for 2,000 years. Lutheran pastor and author Nadia Bolz-Weber wrote a benediction in 2020 that was inspired by the Beatitudes, the blessings which were spoken by Jesus at the beginning of his Sermon on the Mount, which was about 2 years into his ministry. He was maybe 28 years old. Our parable today is a teaching from that same sermon, and Bolz-Weber's prayer feels like a beautiful way to enrich the story that we will be reflecting on today. I've modified her blessing slightly. Maybe, says Nadia Bolz-Weber, maybe the Sermon on the Mount is all about Jesus' lavish blessing of the people around him on that hillside, who his world, like ours, didn't seem to have much time for. People in pain, people who work for peace instead of profit, people who exercise mercy instead of vengeance. Maybe Jesus was simply blessing the ones around him that day, who didn't otherwise receive blessing, who had come to believe that for them blessings would never be in the cards. I mean, come on, she says. Doesn't that just sound like something Jesus would do? Extravagantly throwing around blessings as though they grow on trees. So I imagine Jesus standing among us offering some new Beatitudes today. Blessed are the agnostics. Blessed are they who doubt, those who aren't sure, who can still be surprised. Blessed are those who have nothing to offer. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are they for whom death is not an abstraction. Blessed are they who have buried their loved ones, for whom tears could fill an ocean. Blessed are they who have loved enough to know what loss feels like. Blessed are the mothers of the miscarried. Blessed are they who don't have the luxury of taking things for granted anymore. Blessed are they who can't fall apart because they have to keep it together for everyone else. Blessed are those who still aren't over it yet. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are those who no one else notices. The kids who sit alone at middle school lunch tables, the laundry guys at the hospital, the sex workers and the night shift street sweepers. Blessed are the forgotten. Blessed are the closeted. Blessed are the unemployed, the unimpressive, and the underrepresented. Blessed are the teens who have to figure out ways to hide the new cuts on their arms. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are the wrongly accused, the ones who never catch a break, the ones for whom life is hard. For Jesus chose to surround himself with people like them. Blessed are those without documentation. Blessed are the ones without lobbyists. Blessed are those foster kids and special ed kids and every other kid who just wants to feel safe and loved. Blessed are those who make terrible business decisions for the sake of people. Blessed are the burned out social workers and the overworked teachers and the pro bono case workers. Blessed are the kind-hearted football players and the fundraising trophy wives. Blessed are the kids who step between the bullies and the weak. Blessed are they who hear that they are forgiven. Blessed to everyone who has ever forgiven me, even when I didn't deserve it. Blessed are the merciful, for they totally get it. I'm going to invite us to sit for a minute, hold our hearts, our joys, and our concerns, and remember how loved we are. Okay. Release. Let's tell more of the story. Ellen, will you join me?
So, the baby Jesus grew up.
Where is that grown-up Jesus?
He grew in wisdom and spirit. And became a teacher, a preacher, and a leader. And it is the lessons that Jesus taught during his life that are, in many ways, most important to us as Unitarian Universalists, more so often than how he was born or how he died. Jesus' Sermon on the Mount is said to have taken place over the course of several days. It began with the Beatitudes. We just heard a reimagining of those blessings during our prayer. The body of the sermon that followed way back then was a radical message, then as it is now. Jesus spoke about the nature of relationships compelled by love, to turn the other cheek and love your enemies, to give in secret so you don't get any credit for it, and not to worry because the birds don't worry. He spoke about not judging people, squeezing through a narrow gate, and at the very end of his sermon, he finished with a parable about two builders. Can I have two builders, please? And their houses, please. We have two builders. One is a wise builder. Very, very wise builder with all his tools. And one foolish builder. Not so wise.
According to Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 through 27, Jesus said, "Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise person who built their house on a rock. Then the rain came. The streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundations on the rock.
But, Jesus said, everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish person who built their house on sand, and then the rain came down. The streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great and terrible crash.
And so ends the Sermon on the Mount with a picture of two builders. But they weren't actually building houses. They are building lives. The wise live on the rock-solid foundation of living a life compelled by love. The foolish live on the shifting sands of greed and selfishness. The rain of life comes to both. The storms of trouble beat against both houses. Those who hear these words of Jesus and put them into practice are buoyed during those storms of life. But those who ignore his words will sink when trouble comes. Jesus taught that some things are more important than others. It is our words and our actions that matter most. At a time when some people had great riches and others were struggling for the most basic of needs, he imagined a heaven here on earth. He taught his followers to think and speak and act with wisdom, humility, and compassion.
But sometimes we forget. It is important to listen when someone reminds us of what it means to choose love. We remember this lesson as we anticipate Christmas this week. We give thanks for Jesus, the teacher, for all that he was in his life, for his expansive love, for his reminder to serve others, for his willingness to speak truth to power, for his relentless commitment to justice and equity.
We give thanks for the angels and the stars. if they're still out there. They can twinkle. We give thanks for the sheep and the shepherds,
for the longest night just past, and for the slow return of the sun in the months that will follow.
and we give thanks for the potential we have yet to realize, the world we are building together, a heaven here on earth. Blessed be. Thank you, wise and foolish builders.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Let us raise those stars in the pews one more time. May the stars offer us guidance on our journeys. May they remind us to have hope.
May they remind us to remember the power of love, and may they bring peace on earth. Amen.
Amen.